Here we go. We're back. Just quick audio check. Speak. Hello. Yeah, all's good. Audio levels check. Everything's check. Nice. It's kind of weird when things just work. Well, but they do. They are. Cool. Nice. Very nice. Kind of overexposed on this camera here. Let me see if I can fix that. Well, cannot fix it at the moment, but I'll fix it later. It's fine. Not such a big of a deal. Let's check YouTube too. I think we are good at and good there. But yeah, looking, I'm excellent, which is nice. Just double check here. I am connected to go live. I am live, which is nice. This screen has the white balance all messed up, but that's for another time. Very, very nice. Very, very cool. I think we are ready. Very nice. Yeah. Let me get the chat visible. Yeah. I mean, it's rare that things are just working. I guess I have this down already set up, and I'm recording. No dropped frames. Quality looks nice. Mic looks a little bit low. Let me get some gain going here because the mic looks to be a little bit on the soft side. Let's see. Let's see. 1, 2. Okay. I like it better like this. Let's verify. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello? Yeah. Perfectamundo. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let me just get the... Oh yeah, this is not working. Why is that not work? Why is that not working? Huh. Huh. This should go here. Right? Now should be better. Not that much, but we can fix that. When I do this, how's everybody going? Oh, I cannot fix that because I don't have the plugin. Okay, we're good. No problems. So let's get started. So today we have chapter 8 and chapter 9. Yeah, correct. I was kind of confused at this point. Chapter 8 and chapter 9, which is editing text files from a command line, and the other one I forget. I completely forget which one is the other one. Well, we'll get there when we get there. So let's start with the beginning. Let's just have a quick glance at my notes. Yep. 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 That's the thing. So let's switch scenes. So let's go here. Oh, I forgot to activate the thingamajiggy. That's fine. That's quite all right. Okay, this is not all right because this is not capturing the right things, but it's fine. Which is fine. We can fix that really quick. Yep. I mean, I plugged in a new screen. That's why capture was a little bit confused. But everything's fine now. Let's get this out of the way. My mouse script out, which is fine. Okay, cool. So editing text files from the command line. So this is chapter. So first of all, let me get the intro going for the recording for the members. We will get access to the fully edited down version of the sessions. So if you are a member or if you become a member, you'll be able to access all of this live streams, all of the present and future live streams, where you can have access to the edited down versions, where all the fluff is removed and we go directly to the point. So welcome to the Ozzoy Bits live classroom, RH124, and today it's chapter 8 and chapter 9, and let's dive into chapter 8, editing text files from the command line. So this is a very important skill to have because, as you know at this point, well, if you don't, I'm going to tell you right now, we in Linux use text files as our main way to get configurations going. So when you want to get things done and you want to configure stuff, editing text files is the way we go. Right? So having the skill of editing text files, it's kind of important because if you don't, you just cannot configure stuff. Okay, and you probably have noticed at this point that I have not touched yet anything else but the GUI. Okay, so I have not touched stuff like SSH and that stuff, and that's intentional because SSH comes later and we can deal with SSH later on when time comes. So for now, we'll stick with the GUI because I don't want to get things mixed up, because the RH124 it's tailored for people that are at the beginning of their training at this. So I don't want to make things too confusing. So just use the GUI for now and we should be perfectly fine. And you also notice that I'm pretty sure I did not touch the root user. Okay, I have not touched the root user, and that's intentional. Okay, so I don't want to touch the root user before the time comes. We will use the root user for stuff, and we will discuss the root user and how to get access to the root user and all that stuff when time comes. Okay, but for now it's too soon for that, so let's stick with the regular user, or we're going to use the student user, and we will just stick with that and we'll be just fine. Also, if you want to have access to some pre-built virtual machines, you can access on ozzoybits.gumroad.com, or you can just check my video playlist where I show you how to build machines for your practice and for your studies. So I have that playlist here on YouTube, and if you want to check my Gumroad, ozzoybits.gumroad.com, you can have access to the VMs, to the pre-built VMs, and you can have fun with that. That being said, let's go on. Editing text files from the command line. So yeah, so this is a very important skill to have. And there are many ways to get text files edited for our needs. There is no good way or bad way. There is no best way or worst way. Always, all the ways you think that you want to use, they're just fine. Okay, they're just fine. I know people in Linux are very heated when they want and start to defend their favorite text editors, and that's fine. Okay, if you are reaching this chapter and you already have a favorite way to edit text files and it works for you, then stick with that and we're good. Okay, stick with that and we're good. Okay, I'm not telling you that your current methods of editing text files don't work. Okay, if you have a method that works for you, stick with that, and that's fine. Okay, there are a couple of things I want to add. There are a couple of things I want to let you know. But for the most part, you should be, if you have a method that works for you, stick with that and just feel happy with that fact. Okay. But this is my recommendation. Before I reach my recommendation, a little bit of background story. Okay. So there are many ways to get text files going and text files edited. Let's first discuss the most, probably the most obvious one, which is a text editor, right? So you use a text editor to edit text files. That makes sense, right? So there are plenty of choices without any specific order. You have Emacs, via Nano, and if I don't specify your favorite one, it's fine, okay? These are just thoughts and general thoughts and loose thoughts. And you can also have, if you want to include the graphical one, which is the gedit, for example. So I'm not going to use that many graphical options, but I want to show you that there are graphical options. This is the one for GNOME. And if you go back to chapter 1, we discussed different desktop environments, and each desktop environment will have its own text editor. It does not mean that the GNOME text editor does not work on KDE, for example, because it does. But for just to be safe, you should use the one that is tailored to your desktop environment. Okay, the GNOME one will work on KDE and so on and so forth. It will work just fine. But to keep things to simplify things, just use a text editor that is included in your desktop environment. Okay, so just stick with that. I'm not going to use that much the text editor on a graphical environment. Well, maybe I will, but for now I won't, just to get things just a little bit under control. Okay, but don't forget this is always an option if you wish. Now, since we're talking about Red Hat environments, which are mainly used for server environments, many times, frequently, in server environments, you don't even have a GUI installed, a graphical interface installed. So don't get too acquainted with the graphical interface options, even though if it's there and you can use it, of course. But try to avoid this for the most part, because you will not have this available to you in server environments. In the exam, it depends, but on the two nodes that you're going to use to get your things going, you will not have a graphical environment. Okay, so in exam, if things go as they state on their website, on their official website, the machine should be only text mode, right? So you can install the graphical interface on the examination nodes. You can. Yeah, once you get that going, there's nothing that stops you from installing the graphical interface. But you can if you wish, but I highly advise you against it, because it takes time. The machines are not the most performant machines in the world, so it will take a while for the graphical environment to get going. And time, it's something you need to actually optimize throughout the exam. So if you avoid installing stuff during the exam, you should actually avoid it, just to save time. It will work in the end. Don't get me wrong, it will work, but to save time, avoid that. Okay, just to save time, avoid that. If you're watching this in a vertical format on YouTube, I'm also streaming on the long form. Come join there, because it's better for you to visualize. So short form, if you want to jump into the long form, come along, or you can stay in the short form if it's more convenient for you, or to you, of course. Cool. Now to get this out of the way, these are the text mode options. Okay, there are other methods to edit text files indirectly. I will show you also that in a second. But these are the options we have today: Emacs, Nano, Pico, VIVIM. If I'm not mentioning some text editor that you love and use, it's fine. Use that as you wish. Okay, I'm going to recommend one of these, just because it's one of the most available ones out there. For example, again, when you sit down on the exam, you will have access not to all of them, but one of them is pre-installed or very quickly to install, and that's the one you should stick with because it will save you time, and it's also the one that is available in most Linux and Unix systems. So if you know that one, you are kind of golden for any situation. And you don't need to know everything about that text editor. You don't have to know everything about that text editor. You just need to know the basics, the ones I'm going to show you right now. All the advanced stuff you can learn later and you can implement later. Don't worry about too much to get all the bells, whistles, and magic going, because you don't really need it at this point. You just need what I'm going to show you right now in a few minutes about the text editor. If you want to build on that to get more stuff going, that's fine. But for now, you don't actually need it. So Emacs is the original one. So if you want to go deep in history, Emacs is the one that it was. If you want to consider one the original, Emacs is the one that was replaced later on by VI. And the reasoning why Emacs was replaced by VI, it's not something really. It's not really something really intricate or complicated or very technical. It's simply because Emacs was bigger in the space it took in the hard drive than VI. Sorry. So VI was and is smaller on the hard drive. It's as simple as that, as a reasoning for it to be to be replaced. So Emacs was bigger in the hard drive than VI was, and I know that nowadays it's kind of a dumb thing to say because we're talking about kilobytes, right? I know it's very ridiculous, but in the old days, I mean, 20 kilobytes was very expensive. So if you still want to use Emacs, please do. It's fine. Nano and Pico are also good text editors. I don't know them at all that well. All I know about Nano and Pico, it's open a text file and save it. That's all I know how to do. I use them not very frequently. I only use them when they are the only options because in some Linux distributions, these happen to be the default ones. So I don't have to install something else. I just use the one I have and it's fine. The ones I know the best are VI and VIM, VI and VI enhanced. I mean, use which one you want. It's fine. You can use VI, you can use VIM. If you have VI, use VI. If you have VIM, use VIM. If you have both, I do recommend VIM because it has some bells and whistles that can actually be very handy. However, you can use either one. They are very similar at this point. I have had some students and some viewers that are very adamant on one or the other. I mean, people in the Linux world tend to, to listen to things in a very personal way. I'm not that kind of people, but it's fine. You can use one or the other, whatever it's available at the time, and you can just use the one that you feel more comfortable with or more comfortable about. It's just fine. So I'm not going to use any of these ones. I'm not going to use any of these ones, okay? I'm going to use either this one or that one, whatever is available. In the exam, you can use one or the other. And since it takes such little time, you can install VIM if you want. If you feel the need for that, it takes a couple of seconds. So that's actually pretty fine to do and to use. All right, cool. Now let's focus a little bit on how to use VI or VIM. So this is just the bare minimal, the very essentials on how to use VI or VIM in order to get some work done. Okay, something very simple. Throughout the remaining chapters, we are barely halfway throughout the training. We will going to use VI and VIM quite a lot, and I will use that opportunity to give you some more tips and some more guidance on that. Cool. So in order to use VI VIM, it's very simple. First, it has to be installed, and usually is. That's why I recommend you to learn VI or VIM, just because it's almost always pre-installed. it's almost always pre-installed. Okay, so it's always available. So learn that, and it will be quite okay. So, for example, let's start by editing a text file that already exists. So all I'm going to do here, I have this file that I copied somewhere in the previous session. I don't remember. And I want to see its contents. We already know cat. Cat, it's a very good and you can also use cat. The cat it allows us to see the contents of a text file in a very, very safe way. It's non-destructive, so we can do that. It's fine. I'm happy. You can also use. Do I have it installed here on this my other computer? Do I have it? I do have. You can also use a tool that I like to use too, but you don't have to install it intentionally. You have BAT. BAT allows you to. It's a kind of a cat on steroids. Okay, it's kind of cat on steroids. It's nice to use. I like to use it, but I use it a lot. But I mean, in the training, it's completely unnecessary. Cat will do the job just fine, and in the exam, I mean, you don't really need to. I don't think you have access to BAT in exam, so don't need to invest time. So in exam, keep things as simple as possible because time is of the essence, and we really need to save time there. So cat, well, it's very nice because it allows you to see it, the contents of a text file in a non-destructive manner. Okay, but if you want to use VI, you can. Now, don't forget this file I copied from its original location to my home folder. Okay, so I did something like cp and I copied it locally. Okay, so if since the file is local, it's in my home folder. Oops. I have full rights to it. I can read, write, make changes just because it's located on my home folder. Okay. So to use VI or VIM, I'm going to use VI just because I can, and I just specify the name, and there we go. We are seeing the contents of the text file using VI. So this is very nice, or I can use VIM. I mean, it's kind of your own choice. Okay. This doesn't make much of a difference, and I'll tell you why. Because I have an alias here. You should it does not show up. Well, in this machine you don't have it. But basically, when you use VI, you are using VIM. So I usually use VIM just because it's kind of muscle memory. Okay, I just do VIM and Bajambo. Not this one, the one I have here. So I just use VI and blah, blah. It's muscle memory. So you don't have to. I could use VIM. So VIM is kind of muscle memory, right? VIM or VI. So when I do VIM and it says command not found, then I go back to VIM to VI. It's fine. If you want to see where the executables are, you can use the which command. I like it, the which very much. It's very to the point. So the VIM, it's on the bin, and the VI, it's always also on the bin. So if I do a long list, now at this point, you guys now understand what I'm doing here. As you can see, there are basically two different executables. They are different entities, okay? But they're very similar, okay? So use one, use the other. You should be fine. Now, I'm typing a little bit faster at this point. I told you this was going to happen because at this point, you know what alias is, you know what ls is, you know what cp is, you know what pwd is. Okay, so I'm going a little bit faster than the previous sessions because now you know. So that's kind of the theme here. As we learn, we go faster and more effective. Okay. So if you have not checked the previous sessions, go check the playlist and watch the previous sessions. Okay, so let's go back where we were. And one thing we see immediately is that I have here 32L and 2308B. You guys can see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. It means that this file has 32 lines and 2000 bytes. It's a nice to have. I don't see why not. Also here, you'll see the column and the line. So if I go down, the line increases. If I go right, the column increases. Okay? So that is going to tell you the line and column where the cursor is located. That's very handy. Yes, very handy because of the following. Sometimes you are editing a text file of a service or whatever the case it is, and it says error on line, I don't know, 12. And this allows us to go to line 12. See, it's very, very handy. Also, you can go to line 12 immediately. So in VIM or VI, if I say VIM, it's VI. Rarely it makes a difference. You can use the same thing on both. So if you want to go to line 12, we just hit the escape key. And usually we hit the escape key multiple times because that's how sysadmins work. You need to hit the key multiple times. Okay? One is enough, all right? But multiple times is a very common habit. And you just type the column. So it's the upper dot, lower dot. That's a column. In Portuguese, it was dois pontos. And now you tell the system which line to go. Line 12. Blammo. Okay? If you want to have the lines added if you want to have the lines added, you can column set num. It's not set num, or is it? Not set num. There's a space. No. How do you? Shit, I forget. How do you add the lines to set num? Right. Show lines, line number in VI. Oh, it's set number. Jeez, I was close. Set number. Okay, this is going to allow you to see the actual line in front of you. So if this is not enough, you just do set number and then you see the line. So this can be handy to you. Again, I'm not telling you the right way, the wrong way, the best way, the worst way. I'm just telling you ways. If you want to adopt, adopt. If you want to ignore, ignore. It's fine. Okay, column 10. There we go. I am at line 10. All right, cool. Now, let's say I want to delete line 10. This line 10 is completely trash. I want to get rid of it. Several options. You can go to the end of the line, which is nice. Then you can hit the I key. I key means insert. Now I'm inserting text. I'm inserting text here. Okay, I'm making changes. By hitting the insert, I put the cursor, I backspace it, backspace it, backspace it, and line is gone. Cool. How do I leave insert mode? I just hit the escape key. Escape. Blammo. It's gone. Easy, right? So let's say I regret this. Okay, let's say I regret deleting this line. I want the line back. What do? I hit the U key. U of that's undo, right? U key. Undo. Line is back. How cool is that? Perfect. Now, another way to delete the line 10, I just go to the beginning of the line 10 and I hit the letter D key twice. 1, 2, gone. I can undo. DD, gone. DD also has the capability of pasting. So it's a cut and paste. So I can put the cursor anywhere in the file. I hit P and I pasted. I regret, undo. Cool, DD, delete. See, operator, it's on line 10. Delete. I'll go here. Now operator is on line 16. Ain't that nice? Undo. Cool, this is very nice. So you have two ways to delete a line. You can hit the insert key and delete it the old school way, which is fine. Or hit DD key, DD, bam. Cool. You have another way. It's slightly different. So you get the cursor in the beginning of the line. Let's say line 13. You hit the C key for cut. Blammo. It cut the line. It opened up a new space. But you can still use the P key to paste. Let's paste it here. Blammo. Ain't that nice? So DD deletes the line. And it's gone. Okay. CC deletes the line but puts the cursor ready to insert new data there. Again, there are no better, no worse things. They are just different ways to do stuff. Cool. Use the one you prefer. Rewind this video every more times. Redo things and rewatch, re-listen, and try it yourself. It's very important to try it out, to experiment. Cool. More. Nice. Let's go to line 10, just because I can. Blammo. Delete. Blammo. Oh, nice. Cool. And at this point, we have not, we did not add per se new content to the file. I'm just doing some light editing. Okay. Okay. So let's say I want to add. I don't want to cut or paste. I just want to add. Oh, before I forget. Let's say I want to do the same thing on lines 1, 2, and 3. I can do 2DD. 2DD. Jesus, I said 3 lines and it is 2. So 3. So line 1, line 2, and line 3 I have to be gone. 3DD. Blammo, gone. So daemon, bin, and root are going to be deleted. 3DD. Cool. Or 3CC. See? Very nice. Now we're getting somewhere. Now let's say I want to add content. Well, the easiest way is to hit the I key for insert. And now I'm adding stuff there. Okay. I can just use this as a regular text editor. It's fine. Okay. Cool. Sometimes I want to add text to the end of the file. So I just do Control A, Control E, Shift A, Shift A. If you use Shift A, you're going to insert new text at the end of the file immediately. So if you hit Insert, you need to go here and add. If you hit Shift A, you are immediately at the end of the line, which is nice. Or if you want to add a new line underneath, you just go Shift O for under and O underneath. So again, if you hit the O key, lowercase o, you will open a new line below the current line. If you hit Shift O, you will open a new line just above. Like I said before, don't try to force yourself to memorize all of this stuff. Okay, that's not the goal here. The goal here is to get you acquainted with this, and then you can rewind all of this on the YouTube on the YouTube VOD, and that's the way to go. And get some blood flowing. Okay, get some habits going, some muscle memory going. Don't try to memorize stuff just the first time you hear about it. Cool. Open a new line. Oh, and I just need to add context text here. Ain't that nice? Shift O opens above. Ain't that nice? Cool. Don't try to do fancy stuff. Whatever works for you, okay? Especially in the exam. So if you are in the exam, don't try to make things very bubbly. Just do whatever works, okay? Don't overcomplicate your day in the exam, because the exam is hard enough as it is, okay? So don't complicate stuff. Just get the blood flowing and get things done. Cool. What else? Okay, I cannot add this one. So let's find stuff. Let's find the word. So what I'm going to do is / and I type the word I want to find. There you go. There you go. We found this word. Now, if you hit the N key, you can find the next iteration of that find. Shift N goes back, and forward, Shift back, Shift N back, and forward, Shift N back. If you're watching this in kind of the main pages and all that good stuff, it's lowercase n forward, uppercase n backwards, because if Shift N makes an uppercase, and Shift N, and Shift N. Ain't that nice? Cool. Now, if you hit the escape key, you'll see that highlighted word that I just found or just searched for. It's still highlighted. So if you want to remove the highlight, you just hit the column, no highlight. There you go, and it's gone. If you want to do the old school way, you can just do a new search, for something stupid, so it doesn't find anything and it's gone. So whatever works for you. I forgot to hit the enter key. Okay. Now it's gone. Okay, but no highlight. It kind of is the correct way. It's cleaner. But for the longest time, I did the previous part, the thing that to search for something dumb, and it worked. So it's fine. Whatever works. Fine. Cool. Now we have. Oh yeah, let's do a find. At this case, insensitive. So if I search for uppercase root, it's not found because uppercase root does not exist. But I can do something like this, and you just do // and the C means case insensitive, and now I can search for whatever, and it should be fine. It will ignore the case. So / C, and it will find it. Or if you want to be case sensitive, you just find it like this. Pretty nice. I like it. Cool. And this technique also works in the man pages. So it's fine. Now, that's all we need to know for now. We will learn more as we go. What you need to know now is how to save, how to exit saving, and how to exit without saving. That's a very important skill to have. So, in order to exit without saving, you hit the escape key, you hit the column, and smaller case Q. This will just quit without saving. And I get this warning. The system is telling me that I have not changed the file. I'm sorry. I have not saved the file. I did changes, but I did not save them. Do I really want to exit without saving? If it is, I will put exclamation mark, and this will just force the action. So VIM is aware that the file was changed. I did not save it, but that's exactly what I want. Blammo, it's gone. Okay. Now let's say I will make some quick changes. I really want to save. I want to save. So escape, column, W saves, writes. File is written. Other option is W and give it an alternate name. This will write the file with a different name. Or you can just do write and quit, and this will just do both things in one sitting. If you want to do write, quit, and exclamation mark will force save the file, then quit. Or if you want to save time, you can do the X means WQ. Or you can do the X exclamation mark, and this will just force the quit. The same thing as WQ, but with less letters. So now you know how to exit without saving, how to exit saving, and now you know. And that's nice. Now you know the bare minimal essentials of how to use VI and VIM. That's all we need to know for now. If you want to use VIM tutor, this executable will just give you in some quick lessons. Well, much more than what I just said, of course, about VIM. You can just, if you want to glance through it, you are fine, VIM tutor. Or you can just man page, the VIM man page, of course. This is always available to you, and you can check out VI, VIM, and kind of its brothers, sisters, cousin applications. Okay? We're going to discuss a different VI variant later on in the training, which is the Vim diff, but we'll get there when we get there. And this is basically it. This is how to use VIM to make changes. I'm going to use VIM extensively throughout the rest of the chapters, so you'll have the chance to see me use it quite a lot. It's fine. Okay. So if you want to get some files going and experiment, we're fine. Again, if you want some help building virtual machines for the training, you can check my playlist. It's in the description, or you can check my Gumroad, also in the description, where you can get your virtual machines there. Cool. There are other ways to get text files edited. I'm going to show a couple of times because it can be handy. Okay, so let's get things going. So let's build a, I completely forgot how to create a new file with VIM, but it's quite simple. Just do a new file. And it's, if you have, don't forget, in order to create new things or change things that already exist, don't forget you need to have the right permissions on the folder and files you are about to edit. If you don't have the right permissions, you are SOL. We will talk about permissions later on, and we can go deeper on that later. Okay, cool. Now I just created a new file, and I'm going to add content to that file. So how do I do that? We know already. It's by hitting the I key, and now we are inserting new contents to the file. Okay, perfect. Now let's get add content, and you can exit saving. So we know this already. WQ, and we are saving. I could use the X. We know how it's done. We know different methods. Use the one you prefer. It's fine. It's fine. Cool. Now let's see if the file has contents there. Yep, there we go. Add content. Perfect. And the file is edited. So how can I make changes to the file now? Well, I can re-edit it, which is perfectly fine. Or you can use fancy stuff. For example, let's say I want to add contents to the file, but I don't want to make it in an interactive way. What I mean by interactive, you need to open the file, interact with the text editor to get the contents done. So I want to make things without interaction, because things without interaction will make scripts more usable. Okay? If you use interactive ways, scripts become less efficient. So let's add new content to this file without the need of interaction. Usually we make this by doing the echo command. So the echo command by itself, it will just send whatever you type to the screen. Cool. Or you can use this technique called redirection. Okay, which is, I forget the name in English of this symbol. Oh, I forget. It's not a bracket. Well, never mind. It's that symbol there. Okay, and you can direct to the file. Now, be careful when you do this, because if you use one iteration of this symbol, what you are echoing is going to destroy what's within it. So if you see, I had this content to the file. If I do this, now it's completely overwritten. Okay, so if you use one iteration of this symbol, in Portuguese it's bigger than, I forget the name in English, doesn't matter. If you use only one instance of this symbol, we are going to completely obliterate what's within it. Okay? If you want to add content, let's do a fresh start. If you want to add, use two iterations of this symbol. This is going to add to the file and not overwrite the file. See? So if you use this carefully, it can be very handy, because by doing so, you can add contents to the file without the need to interact with the file. And quite often, interaction will make things just harder or impossible. Okay, so by not needing to interact, you can automate stuff, script stuff, and make things more streamlined without the need of interaction. But again, be careful, because if you do this in the wrong way, you can destroy the contents of a text file that can be important. In this case, I'm using a non-root user. So student it's a non-root user. It's a underprivileged user. So I mean, I can destroy my own files, but it will be kind of hard or even impossible to destroy important system files, right? Because I don't have enough rights to do so. But if you are using root, be careful, because things can go really bad, really fast. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want to add contents, I will do this throughout the training. even as root, because I kind of know what I'm doing, and I have very, very easy and fast ways to restore the current state of the machine. So, I mean, I don't care that much if I do a mistake. I can just put things back. I'm always creating snapshots of the machine. But if you are not, should be careful. That's why you have sometimes you have some directories synced to GitHub, for a private GitHub. Obviously, you're not going to sync this to the internet. A private Git repository, or I can use SAR to keep. Well, if you have backups of the system files, you have kind of a failback solution. And the DTC folder where the config files are usually located, it's small enough. It's small enough to have kind of a replica local. Okay. I digress again. So if you have a copy of the system files, it should be okay. If you are using the root user, be careful by doing this, because you may destroy important system files that using this method, because root is entitled to do that. So this method is cool. I will use it. I have made mistakes in the past, but thank God it was only in the classroom. So because when I'm in production, I tend to avoid to do this with system files, but if needed, so I will. Cool. Now you have two options. You have VI or VIM. It's I mean, they are the same tool basically, and you have the output redirection. There is more to say about VI, VIM, and redirection. There are tools capable of more than this, but this is all we need for now, and we will work this out throughout the training sessions. We will actually use this quite a lot, and as we do, I will deliver more tips and more tricks for you guys to optimize the use of these tools. Good, redirection. I'm just checking my notes to see if I did not forget anything. So yeah, this was, I'm going to work more, I'm going to give more details about redirection, because it's chapter 9. But let's do a quick coffee break first. I need to go to the bathroom. I'm just looking for my notes here. Yeah, I'm going to share with you guys this screenshot afterwards, so we can wrap things up. So chapter 8 was all about VI/VIM. Chapter 9 is all about redirection. There are still a few tips, a few things I want to add about redirection in this session, but let's just do a quick coffee break, and then we come back and we wrap things up on this session for today, and with some more added value to the redirection, because there are a couple of things I want to add, but let's do a quick break. I need to go to the bathroom, and we come back when with more details and more stuff about redirection. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Enjoy the break. Okay, we're back. Thanks for the coffee break. Hope you enjoyed it. Now Let's then go back to the wrap things up for this session. And don't worry if you felt this session was too light, because things are getting serious. Next week is going to be lots of fun. Anywho, let's wrap things up about redirection. I'm going to share. You can get ready for take a screenshot. Let's go here, for example. Where is it? Here. So basically, these are some tips on what to expect when you redirect stuff. So let's discuss this a little bit. So bigger than is what I did. So it redirects and overwrites the file. Bigger than redirects and append. So this is going to destroy the destination. This is going to keep what's there and add to that. Then we have some variations. For example, if you put the number 2, it will redirect std error to a file. What does this mean? Well, it means the following. Okay. So in a nutshell, you have several output possibilities. So your output of your actions can go to different destinations, and these usually are represented by a number. For example, you'll see what I mean in a second. So number 0 means std in. This is the standard input. And our usual standard input is the keyboard, okay? So this is the standard way we input information into Linux boxes, using the keyboard with the keys. Number 0. Number 1 is the standard output. Error is number 2. Output. So this is how you can see the result of our actions, and the default destination of the result of our action is the screen, and we usually mention screen as terminal. Okay, so number 0 is the standard way to get input to the system, and that's using the keys. Number 1 is the standard output, okay, of our, this is not error, never mind this, standard output, which is the terminal. So usually we see feedback of our actions in the terminal. Everything makes sense, right? There's nothing special to it. Number 2 is the standard error. Okay. And the default way, or the default location for the errors is a terminal. Okay. Then you have a third option, which is the 3+, which is the output to something else. But we'll leave this for later. Let's focus on these 3. 0, it's a standard way to input, which is the keyboard. Number 1, it's the standard way to get feedback, which is the terminal or the screen. Number 2 is the standard error, or the standard way to get errors, again, which is also the screen. So that's why you get this here, number 2. Okay, number 2 means the errors. Remember, with this is it. Number 2 is error. So which means that the number 2 is redirected to a file. So so you don't see it in the screen, you get the errors to a file. That's useful because you can just get, if you send the errors to the screen, you may have, more, but 2 possible outcomes that you want to have. You want to save the errors for later, or you want to ignore the errors. I will show you an example in a second. If you want to completely ignore the errors, you can use a special device, which is devnull. Everything you send to devnull is destroyed. Outputs, files, folders, whatever the case. So everything you send to devnull is to get destroyed. It gets saved nowhere. Use with care. Then you can combine all of these with different effects. So let me clear this. If you want to screenshot this, you are welcome to. 3, I will switch scenes in a second. So if you want to screenshot, you are welcome to. 3, 2, 1. We'll go here. Now, for example, I'm going to make a command that is it's not harmful at all. It's very clean, which is the find command. The find command allows us to find files and folders. And I'm going to find for name anything called, I'm going to search for a command called a file called FES tab. And I'm going to do this like this. Oh, and I need to search to tell you where to search. So search here. So since I'm a regular user, I am able to find the file, but I have some errors here. So the permission denied are, for all intents and purposes, errors. And this is fine, okay? This is perfectly fine. But if I do something like this, as you can see, now errors are gone because the errors are now in a file. Okay, so let's list it. I have a file here called errors, and that contains all the errors that were produced by the find command. So the output, it's very clean. I only see the success, what I can only see the file that I could find. Okay. And all the errors are just not there. So I get a very clean output, but I still get my information. So if you want to add to the file, can do this. So I see the success and redirect the errors to the errors file. If I do this, now I'm seeing just the errors. Why? Because this is going to redirect the success to a file. See? So, or you can combine the two. So to combine the two, let's use the upper stamp. Everything goes to the file, okay? You can also separate successes to go to one file and errors go to the other file. But let's do the one I use the most, which is this one. So I want to see the successes, ignore the errors. But in this case, I save the errors to a file. Or I can just simply okay, by doing this, I'm not saving the file, the errors at all. I'm just sending them to a completely to the oblivion. I don't care. So you could save the files, could save the errors for a later analysis, or just completely ignore them altogether. Again, there is no right, no wrong, no better, no worse. Just take the action that you prefer at that point. So this is the one I use the most, but you can use it. You can use where is it? You can use this chart. You can screenshot it if you wish, and you can actually have some control over what to redirect and how you redirect it. Cool. Now to wrap things up, let's talk about the T command. Okay, so the T command is very useful. For example, let's go back to this guy here. So there you go. Let's say I want to put all of this to a file. Okay. And I want to put everything to a file. Let's use errors and successes. Let's use, I'm sorry. So everything goes to a file. Cool. Now, that's nice, right? That's very clean. But by doing so, basically, I see nothing at this point. So it's kind of either anything or nothing, or either everything or nothing. So I either see everything or see nothing. This can be your intent, okay? This can be your intent, and we are happy with this. But what if I want, for example, I want to list the files. I want to see the file listing, but I also want to put to a file. So in other words, what if this is what I want? What if I want to, I do a command here, doesn't matter what command it is, and I want to see it to the screen, and I also want to send to a file. Well, this is what we use the command called T. It's a T. Not T of the drink, but T. Because the T is going to input to one direction and to the other. It's going to put to a file and to the screen at the same time. So I get, well, kind of the best of both worlds, right? Let's use it. Okay. So let's do, for example, the pipe. I'm going to send this to T, to the T command, and it's going to say to go to list file. And well, that's basically it. By doing this, I listed it to the screen and also created a file called list files. How cool is that? Let me do that again. By doing this, I'm outputting to the screen, and I'm giving it to the T. So like I said, in this case, I did the command here and went to the screen and went to the file. So I get the best of both worlds. I don't exclude one of them. So there. So if I do the redirection, I mean, it's hard to get the best of both worlds. What if I want to see and redirect? So I want to see the successes and redirect. Then I use the T. I'm seeing in the screen, and I'm also putting to a file, which is pretty nice. You can also combine it with less, for example, to stop, or whatever the case. So by doing this, I'm putting this to the screen, which is the default behavior of the ls command. And with the T, I'm also redirecting this to a file, which is basically this. I do the command here, goes to the screen, and goes to a file. So in a way, I get the best of both worlds, which is quite nice. Quite nice, actually. Okay, let me check the notes. And that's chapter 8 and chapter 9. Just as a teaser, next chapters are going, or next week are going to be chapter 10 and chapter, well, 11, of course, but the chapter 10 is managing local users and groups. Chapter 11, controlling access to files. I'm in the fence. Probably next week it's going to be just chapter 10, and the week after it's going to be just chapter 11, because they are very dense and have lots of contents to be said. So if I do both chapters, it will be just too long of a session, and I think I'll just separate into, okay, which is the best. If you want to see everything in one sitting, I have the entire training course on a few playlists in the channel. Go check the description. Okay, so I have done this in a very standard classroom-oriented way. I have this all recorded. I have in separate chapters and one big chapter. Pick the format you prefer and consume that. It's RH124 and 134, and both together will give you the RH199. So if I already have that. I already have that content up and running in my channel. If you want to check it out, you can go it right now and binge watch all of that right now. But if you prefer the live classroom, which is a format I really love and really enjoy to deliver, next week we'll have the chapter 10, which is creating users and groups. Probably just chapter 10, because it's this subject, it's a very dense and in a good way. So I don't want to overwhelm you guys with this live training format, okay? So if you are a member, pay attention, because you will have access to the no fluff edit of these sessions, and go check it out. If you're not a member, go check the live stream recordings, the VODs, and all the rest of my almost 700 videos on my channel, all for free for the most part. If you want these VMs, go to ozzoybits.gamer.com. Like, subscribe, hype, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.